What's up? Good morning. Happy Saturday. Quick check-in today about the fasting topic. In the last 5 years, I have tinkered around with some different fasting protocols. I personally am a really big fan of fasting, but there's also a lot of factors that go into when to fast and how to fast and for how long to fast and those sorts of things. Um, if your stress level's really high, you're not sleeping at night, you just got 1,000 freaking things going on. I do not recommend fasting just because it's going to further drive up your cortisol levels and it's going to tell your body to hang on to that body fat just because it's a defense mechanism. It's survival mode by your body. So please understand that. Lots of things go into this. Conditions are never going to be perfect for like anything out there. But again, there are just some things you have to keep in mind with fasting protocols that are out there. Pre-existing medical conditions, blood sugar issues, things like that. So here's just a couple of really quick guidelines about fasting. So in general, when we get some things lined up, especially once we hit about that third week of getting the eating dialed in, I'll start to prescribe 2 fasting days per week. I like to use either that Wednesday or Thursday off, the active recovery day right slap in the middle of the week for a fast. But again, we got to get your eating dialed in before you do that. Folks that are eating pretty bad the day before, if they go try to fast the next morning, their blood sugar gets a little wonky. If you're getting a headache or something like that, you need to eat. If you feel bad, you need to eat. If you're hungry, you need to eat. Period. That's all there is to it. But when you dial it in, it is something that just works brilliantly for folks because, quite frankly, you're not eating. Like, you're going to consume less calories. And some freaking genius came along and said, I'm going to tag this new thing I've invented. It's called not eating, but I'm going to call it intermittent fasting. It really is great stuff though, and there are a bunch of things that go into it. So just a couple things really quick. If you're in school, you need to eat. Like, in front of you, cerebral activity, I'm crunching numbers, I'm writing papers, things like that right in front of me. If I'm doing desk work and I've got a really big project in front of me, you need to eat in the morning, just because you'll see it tends to change cognitive function a little bit with that stuff that's sitting there right in front of you, working away on stuff, again, grading papers, big projects, that kind of stuff. You have to eat. I don't recommend any kind of fasting protocols for anybody under 20 to 25 years old. Again, just generally speaking, under 20 to 25. If you're training, the answer depends. What kind of training are you doing? On a max effort day, so we're ripping off like singles, doubles, triples. I can fast after that. I can extend that fast up through lunchtime that day. On a dynamic day or a day we're adding some training volume, I do not recommend that just because you're going to really deplete the glycogen stores and you are going to be really freaking hungry. Because of those different rep ranges and the fact that you've burned off that glycogen, you really need to cap that back off after the lift. And I'll start adding some of the eating prescriptions to the training days just so you can kind of go through and cherry pick and find what works best for you. At the end of the day, it's still a matter of writing all of that stuff down in your notebook and just mindfully tracking what's working and what isn't. Ultimately, you'll iron out your path. So I will say this though, it is the weekend. So the second day that I recommend to fast is over the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. My plan today was to get up and to fast this morning, go out, push a lawnmower for 2 hours. Well, I woke up and my wife was cooking bacon, which means I am going to eat breakfast. So that's fine. I'll just push that the longer fast to tomorrow. No big deal, not a problem. But I will tell you this, if you are out partying over a weekend the night before, you can't fast the next day. You're gonna feel terrible. Got to go get a biscuit or whatever. Like, it's just the way that it is, man. So if you're on the sauce pretty hard the night before, you're gonna feel pretty bad the next day. You can't fast that day. On the flip side of that, if Rodney Keller extends his fast till 12 or 2 or 4 o'clock on a certain day, that night I do not get to go out and close down a bar somewhere or go out and just have go to a big wedding reception with friends. There's a time for that. My God, you have to live. Like, no one questions that. You have to live. But don't break out that really long fast on a night when you know you're going out to a really good friend's wedding and you're going to tie it on and have a really good time. So just some general recommendations there. Trust me, a lot of this stuff I know because I've boogered up enough times and came back and said, well, that sucked. Don't do that again. Add this, take this out, tweak this, that, and the other. And you just find over time what works best for you. So again, we recommend those 2 fasts per week. If you have any specific questions, please reach out. If not, have a great weekend. We'll be in touch.